There was a game this past week, even though I did not go to it. Tennessee played UAB in Neyland Stadium. Vols won 56-24. I think, Jordan, you and I both agree that while Tennessee did not have trouble winning this game, there were some things left to be desired. Not going to spend a ton of time talking about what happened this weekend because we did an entire show on that on Saturday. We'll drop that link in the chat as well. But if you had to give me just one or two things, Jordan, that you got out of that game on Saturday, what would you give me?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway that I would have is that Tennessee's defensive backs are kind of in trouble right now. That game, by statistic standpoint, is not really what you want to see on paper because Tennessee, during that game, they gave up 371 yards. And I knew that from last Saturday, but I didn't realize this until today that they also had a 75% completion percentage. So it's kind of rough out there for the defensive back groups. But a positive takeaway that I got from the game is that, like Joey Aguilar still performing well. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't as good of numbers as it was against Georgia the week prior, but I mean, he still had over 200 yards passing. He had 3 touchdowns, and he made a couple of good throws down there, like we mentioned on the post game show. So I mean, I think Tennessee offensively is still looking fine, but the defensive backs is kind of an issue right now.
Yeah. I think you called the dogs off a little bit there early second quarter after some of those incompletions. What I mean by that is you're just not trying to take nearly as many shots down the field, just trying to run it with your running backs, do as much damage as you can on the ground. But I thought through the first quarter, Joey Aguilar looked good. Again, like we said during the post-game show, the pick, not at all on him. That's just a crazy ricochet that just happened to go into the safety's hands. There's just nothing you can do about that, other than maybe time it up a little bit better and then look for a guy that's not just super covered up by a defender, I think is the best way to put it. But you are right about the secondary, Jordan. I do have some worries about it going forward, especially with who is in front of Tennessee now in Mississippi State. That's a team that we know a thing or two about Jeff Levy's offense just because it kind of mirrors what Tennessee's doing. It's a lot of dependency on the run to open up bigger plays. And they've got some athletes there. That's something that we're not used to saying about Mississippi State, because usually when you think of Mississippi State, you're thinking tough, ground and pound, big boy football. But that's not the case this year necessarily. So, and again, too, one thing that you got to remember about UAB was that it was just lining up all the funky formations, trying to catch Tennessee off guard. I haven't watched a lick of UAB football outside of what I watched this Saturday, so I could be completely wrong about that. But I would imagine they're not running those formations all the time against conference opponents unless they're just truly not competitive with anybody in the American Athletic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of times with these smaller schools, you see like somewhat like more gimmicky plays. I mean, because you got to do something to stay into the game. I mean, I don't know what the recruiting is like, but I mean, I'm sure it's mainly like 3 stars at best, if not less, for most of the players. I mean, so there's like a clear talent discrepancy there. I mean, it makes sense that they would have to pull out all the stops to be able to try to get a win. But yeah, I mean, of course, like Tennessee ended up getting the win as we all expected and everything, but yeah, and then there was a lot of interesting stuff going on in the game too, with like Trenton Dilfer having his phone out and stuff as well, which apparently I think he said he was like sending to his daughter or something like that. He like FaceTimes them or whatever, but I know that a lot of people talked about that online.
Yeah. No, it was kind of funny. I don't think we mentioned that much during the post game show, but he did have his phone out. I don't know if he was recording Neyland Stadium or what. I mean, that guy has never coached in an environment that big, to my knowledge. I forget who UAB's played on the road and non-conference play in previous seasons, but you just don't see it that often for them. Getting to go to a venue like Neyland Stadium, that is. So, And then the one other thing that Jordan, I think you wanted to mention it during the post game. You mentioned it to me after we got done. Josh Heupel just trying to do every man in Vegas who took the over or the Tennessee spread, I should say, a big old favor and score another touchdown. Because I know the odds are a little different from ESPN Bet to most other sports books. I think like it's a 1 point advantage for somebody in the spread. I don't know how exactly that works, but I just know that the odds are stacked a little bit more one way than they are in most sports books. And yeah, he was still running plays with 2 seconds left. It's like he was unhappy with the team's effort despite winning by 32 in that game. It wasn't enough for him. Maybe that is just revenge for what happened to Max Gilbert in the first quarter. That could also be a part of it. I don't know if Josh Heupel is a betting man. I do remember the first game of the Heupel era because I was there. That was my sophomore year of college. Tennessee was playing Bowling Green. They're up 38-6 late in the game. They can take knees if they want to, but they keep running the football. And I just remember because the people next to me were just cheering the whole time, rooting to cover the spread. And then I think it was Marcus Pierce, the walk-on running back, who ended up fumbling the ball. And then there was just this collective groan because they didn't cover the spread. So I don't know what that's all about, but I think there are a few logical explanations as to why that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of funny because I mean, I was telling you in the post game show that I was already prepping on coming in here and getting everything set up for the podcast. And I was like, I'll watch one last play just to make sure that they're going in victory formation. And then they surely did not. I mean, they were going down there throwing the football. I mean, they were trying to score one more time before the game ended, which honestly, I mean, if I was a coach, I would probably do the same thing, to be honest. I mean, I'm that type of guy in the Maddens and the college football video games, but you don't typically see it as much at the professional level. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty funny that Josh Heupel is just trying to go out there swinging to the very end.
I'm going to call you Cardale Jordan from now on for that, just for wanting to just beat the crap out of somebody that's already down. But no, you're not trying to beat people 98-31 in college football games. But
yes, I am.
that would be a sight to see. It would be a sight to see you beating up on somebody like that in a college football game.